everybody? Earl at thelogbook.com back on another voyage of shelf discovery. Now, a while back, you remember we opened up one of the Eaglemoss Star Trek ships. But I have something else from Eaglemoss that came in that same mail call, and this is something I have been waiting for a very long time. Cue the dramatic music. It's the Eagle from Space 1999. Now, I was recently having a conversation with some friends of mine where I told them that there is no such thing as an inexpensive model of the Eagle from Space 1999. And this is a true thing. This is very much a true thing, because this is not a... this is really not one of the lower budget items that Eaglemoss has among their offerings. And it'll be interesting to see where they take their Space 1999 line, because there aren't that many other vehicles. I mean, there are the fighter craft and the war games. There are a few other things. You know, there's the ship from Earthbound, which is kind of weird and Art Deco. That would be cool. But for right now, the focus is on the Eagle. Now, as with all of the other Eaglemoss offerings, you get this killer magazine that goes into the detail about the creation of the design and the place of this vehicle in Space 1999 lore, you know, complete with renderings as well as original photos, and you know, you almost look forward to the magazine as much as you do the model. Who doesn't want to read this? Only people who are wrong. That's my answer there. So let's see how big this Eagle is, because it was it certainly took a chunk out of the budget. I'll put it that way. Okay, it's pretty nice size. I was gonna I was gonna call foul if it didn't you know, take up a lot of the length of that box, but as you can see here, it's pretty good size. I believe they said this was 10 inches. A lot of it's plastic, not a whole lot of die cast going on here, but that's okay. I understand that doing all this delicate superstructure work in here is going to be a lot more... It's going to be a lot easier to do with a plastic mold than to try to do it in metal. Now, when I say there is no such thing as an affordable model of the Eagle from Space 1999, that's not really... That's not a joke, because there are models that are perhaps more finely detailed and actually smaller, and yet much more expensive. I mean, and we're talking like into 3 digits to the left of the decimal expensive. That's not something I'm going to splash out for a single ship. Okay, interesting design on the stand here. I'm going to assume that this... Okay, it kind of... fits into... Oh, it kind of slides in. Slides in the back, slide in the front. And then it's more or less secure. It's kind of interesting. It's got landing gear. I'm not sure why there's a stand, except that that's just part of the Eaglemoss way of doing things. So be prepared for the stand to be a little bit different than your typical Star Trek ships. But yeah, very, very nice. Because there is so much, exposed fine detail superstructure here, and because it's plastic, this is definitely, as much as I want to fly this around the room and make whooshy engine noises, as you do, as you should with something like this, I am thinking that this one probably goes on a shelf and stays on its shelf. The model is kind of delicate, to put it mildly. I'm trying to show all angles here. And very nice, but very much like its... Well, I was about to say very much like its counterpart, it's delicate. No, this vehicle in the show was freaking indestructible, because Alan Carter crashed one every week, and yet they never ran out of them. It's like the shuttles on Star Trek Voyager. How did they never run out of shuttles? So, one shudders to speculate. I'm just guessing that Moonbase Alpha had a very capable surviving crew of engineers and mechanics who could get this vehicle up and running again in very short order. It even has, I'm very impressed here. The underside is probably the least likely to get a detailed examination, and yet it has the liftoff engines on the bottom of it. So, really, really quite impressive. There are other variations already. They're already taking pre-orders for other variations of the Eagle on the Eaglemoss website, including the Laboratory Eagle, which that's one of my favorite variations. But in the interest of sanity and budget and display space, because 10-inch model, that's going to take up its own whole little shelf somewhere, I may have to call my Space 1999 collection one and done with the Eagle, which is fine, because that's really... that is arguably the most identifiable image of the show. Perhaps more so than the stars. Perhaps more so than the uniforms or the sets, because the sets change between seasons 1 and 2. So do the uniforms. They add those kind of funky windbreaker jackets to everybody for no readily apparent reason, and they suddenly go from having these kind of timeless turtleneck collar kind of uniforms to suddenly having these super wide 70s collars that date the whole thing. I'll stop there before it becomes a whole screed on what I liked about Season 1 and didn't like about Season 2. But, needless to say, the dream of the ages has been complete. I have been, foaming at the mouth over, would I ever get a decent model of the Eagle? All the way back to looking in, like, the Sears Christmas wish book from 1976 or 77 and seeing, the giant Mattel Eagle that came with the action figures. Oh, missed out on that one, but I was probably a bit small for the whole action figure thing. But finally a decent Eagle to put on the shelf somewhere. I feel like it's come full circle, my fascination with that spacecraft.